Hey, what is up internet? This is Kai with Slapshot Toys doing another Hot Toys action figure review. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at the movie masterpiece series Doctor Strange. Now this has been an extremely long time coming for this figure. I actually pre-ordered it back in January, had an awesome email, I think at the beginning of August, to let me know that it was actually going to come early. Unfortunately, I guess there were some delays with Sideshow, and it didn't actually ship until the week it was supposed to, so I got it like one day early. So it's been a really long time waiting for this figure. I'm super excited. Everything I've seen online has been nothing but rave reviews, so I'm super excited to get this guy open and take a look at the figure. But let's not delay that any further. To the light box. Now normally I don't show the boxes when I'm doing my video reviews, but I thought Hot Toys did a really awesome job with this Doctor Strange box. I kind of wanted to show it off. So how you open this thing is actually you take this little symbol right here, slide it there to the left, and then open it up, and there's Doctor Strange in all his glory. And here is Doctor Strange out of the packaging, and holy crap. I think this is by far one of the most impressive Hot Toys straight out of the box that I've ever seen. Everything from the face sculpt to the detail in the fabric, in the costume, all the accessories, everything is just phenomenal on this figure. But let's take a closer look at the accessories first. Hot Toys has given us an insane amount of awesome accessories with this figure, but the first one I want to take a look at is going to be the stand. Now this is the extremely big diamond stand that Hot Toys has given us with a lot of other figures, such as the armored Batman from Batman v Superman. This is a massive platform here. I really like all the design work that they did with all the different colors and all the kind of spell incantation designs. That looks fantastic. I kind of wish that this was a little bit more kind of beveled and had a little bit of texture to it, but it's just kind of a flat sticker on top of the platform. But overall it looks really good. Got the Marvel Doctor Strange. Taking a closer look at the plaque, I really like that they have the incantation symbols there around the side. I think that looks really good when we get the Marvel and the Doctor Strange. And as far as actually holding the figure to the platform and making him levitate, if you want to display him that way, we actually get this clear tube here with one of the tweezer waist supports here. So we don't actually get the cradle, we get this one. Now I thought originally when I looked at some of the promo pictures, we were supposed to get one of the dynamic flight stands like we get with most flying characters, but unfortunately this is what we get, and we do not get the dynamic flight stand. Now, as far as hand options, we are given 4 full sets of hands, as well as 1 extra spell casting accessory hand. We are given these 2 closed fists, 2 spell incantation hands, some kind of semi-open hands, the full open hands, and this is the accessory incantation hand. Taking a closer look at these things are detailed beautifully. The sculpting is fantastic. I love the flesh tone that they used. Here you have all the scarring sculpted in from Doctor Strange's surgeries. I mean, it just looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, you get all the scarring right there on the back of the palm, knuckles, everything, all the way down to the fingers. I mean, it just looks absolutely brilliant the way that they sculpted all that scarring out. Get the fingernails sculpted in there, that looks really good. And all the sets of hands are all, even on like the palm here, you get some like really nice scarring effects there. It just looks absolutely fantastic. But all the hands are detailed this nicely and have that real nice scarring effect, letting you know it is Doctor Strange. So again, I think this one really shows off all that detail that they put into this really, really well. We also get a ton of artifact and incantation effects to display with Doctor Strange. First thing we're gonna look at are these incantation kind of spheres or discs or whatever you want to call them. These things are beautifully sculpted. I love that yellow. It's real nice and translucent, little kind of peaks of orange there, and then all the detail that they sculpted in here is just absolutely fantastic. And then actually how we can display these with Doctor Strange is you use this open hand, just slide that into these molded kind of fire effects on the back of the disc, and then that holds real nice and snug. We're also given 2 eyes of Agamotto, and these things are really, really nicely detailed and sculpted out. So this is the actual closed version, and I can see here all that little detail in the actual pendant just looks phenomenal. Now this is actually kind of a braided rope, and this fits very easily across Doctor Strange's neck. And then even on the back here, we just have wonderful sculpting design. Same with the open version. We get it to where the actual eye is open and showing, and that's a fantastic kind of pearlescent green that just shines very nicely. Once again, you get all the details here on the side, still the same braided rope, and then you get all that detail on the back as well. And these just look absolutely fantastic. We are also given 3 pieces here to kind of mimic the time warp incantation that Doctor Strange uses in the movie. I love this lime green that they use. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Much like the orange disc, I mean, this thing is detailed out to the max. We get all the little kind of writing and everything there on the edges. Some really nice line work in there. This one isn't nearly as translucent, but it still looks really, really nice. Then actually how you get the time effect on is you take off the hand. We'll do is slide this guy up about halfway up the forearm, and then once again you get this nice little small one. A little bit hard to kind of get it over the fabric. Once you get it placed there, you can place the hand actually back on the figure itself. I can't get this top piece to sit as nicely as it does in the prototype images, but I think it's supposed to sit here on these fingers. I'll have to play around with it a little bit more, but this is basically the overall kind of look that you get once you actually put on the pieces. We are also given the Book of Cagliostro, and this thing is really, really freaking cool. So if we take a look here, I mean, all the sculpting, all this line work here on the front, I really like that way it kind of goes from that kind of, I mean, it's all dark green, but like a little bit lighter shade there, and just out the ends get a really nice dark green. We have this wonderful detailing there along the edges and that gold. That looks wonderful. Come over here to the spine of the book. This looks awesome with all that. Just, I mean, so much little detail. And then on the back, all that line work looks absolutely fantastic. One of the coolest parts about this book is it actually functions. So you open it up, you have all your individual pages. I mean, you can't read it or anything. I mean, you could actually read this language anyway, but you can actually see all the different diagrams and text that were in the movie, and these are all single individual pages. This is just I mean, the attention to detail that Hot Toys put in this thing is unreal. And the last accessory, I don't know if you'd actually consider this an accessory, but I'm going to include it in this part, is the Cloak of Levitation, and this thing is beautiful. So we get all this detail work. This is a really nice, thick, heavy-duty feeling fabric. It doesn't feel like it's going to tear or really wear all that easily. It feels really nice in your hand, which is fantastic. And then coming down here, I mean, just along this edge, so all these are actual individual pieces of fabric, all layered on top of one another to give it this really amazing effect. So you kind of get that leathery material underneath. I mean, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And then coming here to the back, I mean, you get all this kind of like little patchwork done up. I mean, it just looks, look how amazing that is. I mean, and look right here along the collar, you get all this line work, all this detail, just absolutely gorgeous. And then coming down here to the back, once again, you just get that kind of patchwork, and I really like that pattern that they use for these little squares right here. I think that looks fantastic. And then coming over here to the front, you get these little kind of collar ends that just look wonderful with how detailed they are, and the paint apps came out super clean on them. I can't believe how much detail they put in this thing. And then we also get, as far as posability, since the cloak does have kind of a mind of its own, it's very posable. So there's a bendy wire that runs all the way through here around the collar, so you can actually bend this part down, bend this part up if you want. So there's a lot of different displaying options as far as the collar. And then we also get a bendy wire that runs the entire length, it feels like, down the side of the cloak, and then that actually holds its shape extremely well. I've already played around with the cloak in a couple different poses where it's really kind of nice and spread out, and it's held its shape quite well. So it's really awesome that Hot Toys gave us that bendy wire in there that we can really make the cloak look how we want it. Taking a closer look actually at Doctor Strange himself, first off, this face sculpt is unbelievable. I think this is probably honestly the closest I've ever seen a Hot Toys get to the actor, and that includes my Chris Evans Civil War Captain America and quite a few others. I think this is just absolutely uncanny. I mean, all the detail we get here in the face, just the flesh tones, the kind of 5 o'clock shadow there on the chin, the beard looks fantastic, the eyes look wonderful. I think one of Benedict Cumberbatch's most kind of unique features is how kind of thin his face is, and as well as the nose and the cheeks and the forehead, and I think they nailed that. I think it just looks absolutely stunning. Coming through here, you get the eyes that look phenomenal. You get a little wrinkle there in the brow. That looks fantastic. The hair is another thing I think that just looks absolutely wonderful. So you get all these individual strands all sculpted out that look absolutely fantastic. You get that nice little gray in there along with the kind of black. That just all meshes so incredibly well. It just looks so much like Benedict, and I think they did a fantastic job on all the details on the head. Now moving down to the body, it's just as impressive. So we get all this detailing here in the soft goods, and this is like the real nice kind of soft fabric. They did a wonderful job. It's almost kind of like the Vader and Kylo Ren robes. So they've had a lot of practice at doing robes, but they've really nailed it here. I mean, even like kind of here, if I can kind of move the arm a little bit, you get all this detailing here. I don't know how well it's coming in the camera with some of the light, but I mean, you get all this like stitch work and all this detailing. It just looks absolutely beautiful. Little undershirt there looks really good. Got some kind of detail on there. Coming through here, got a little bit of detail there on the chest. Coming down to like the little gauntlets, arms. I mean, look at all this. This is all braided fabric. Just looks absolutely fantastic. Then you get all the little tied off strands there. That looks wonderful. All the belts here on his waist look absolutely fantastic. Once again, they're all actual braided fabric. That looks really good. Now, some of these are just the molded plastic rubber, but these, as far as these two coming through here, those are all actual fabric. And taking a look at the back of the figure, not a whole lot going on here. Some really nice rope work here on the back, and then some nice stitching there, but not a whole lot going on. As far as the lower half, so you get basically a lot of different layers of robe, all with different colors and different materials used, but that all looks fantastic as well. So you almost get like a nice little texture there on the actual boot itself. Get that nice leather strap all detailed out right there. Now these wraps are actual fabric, so that's a nice touch, and once again you get those kind of tie off tassels there at the end. Those look absolutely wonderful. You get the laces that are sculpted down the front. Those look really good. Boots themselves look really cool with some like actual kind of stitch work here along the actual side of the shoe, and then you get tread at the bottom. Now taking a look at the articulation, as far as head movement, he does have side to side swivel. He can look up just a little bit, but not a whole lot, and he can look down about that far. So not a whole lot of range of motion up and down, but he can look side to side. As far as arms, his arms do go out very nicely to 90 degrees to his body, and one of the nice things is the suit is actually pretty loose due to all the ropes, so I don't really feel like there's going to be any sort of wear and tear as far as trying to stretch out those seams. There is a bicep swivel up here at his top bicep. He is double jointed here at his elbows. Looks a little bit awkward, but there is nice range of motion there. As far as his hands, they do rotate and move up and down. Now as far as his diaphragm, there is a swivel here at the hips, and there is a little bit of an ab crunch, but not a whole lot. He can go back just a little bit further than he can go forward, but not a whole lot of range of motion there. As far as the legs, he can do the full splits, and once again, because of the nice loose robes, I don't feel like there's going to be any sort of wear and tear on those seams, but he's not really that dynamic of a character. I feel like you're going to get into like these huge split poses anyway. There is rotation here at the hip. He is double jointed on the knees, so you get extremely nice movement there. That looks fantastic. His boots do rotate. They do not hinge up and down because it is one solid piece, and once again, because it is one solid piece, there's very limited ankle articulation. So that is going to do it for my review of the Hot Toys movie masterpiece Doctor Strange. Now like I said in my review, this figure is absolutely phenomenal. I honestly think that this is probably the best Marvel produced Hot Toy that they have done, at least out of all the ones that I've actually gotten to see and hold in hand. This one, just everything from the details in the cloth goods, in the costume, to the immaculate face sculpt, to the amazing accessories. This figure has everything. The posability is phenomenal. I actually got lost upstairs, completely lost track of time posing it for like a good hour, just taking pictures, which you guys will see at the end of this video. But this is just a phenomenal figure. If you're a Hot Toy collector, if you're a Marvel Hot Toy collector, and especially if you're a Doctor Strange collector, this is a must-own figure. I can't say that enough. I know Hot Toys are extremely expensive, but if you can afford it and you collect them, or if you're a Doctor Strange fan and you want kind of the epitome of a Doctor Strange collectible, this figure is definitely it. So once again, that is going to do it for me this evening. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out these videos. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this Hot Toys Doctor Strange. Let me know what you thought of the Doctor Strange movie in general. Love to talk figures, comics, movies, anything you guys want in the comments. Love to hear from you guys. If you guys did like this video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. That way you guys don't miss out on any future content, including a couple more pop vinyls, a couple more Hot Toys. I have like, I think three more coming before the end of the year, and I already have a bunch pre-ordered for next year, so it's going to be a fun time. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe. Don't miss out any of that content, And that's going to do it for me this evening. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.